kind of want to transition to, taking, like, having work as an artist, and, like, those people who maybe have a song, like, on their phone or something, or, like, have a SoundCloud that they may use, but they're afraid to show their music. They're afraid to kind of put themselves out there. What would you guys say to those?
We've all been there.
We've all been there.
We've all been there.
What would you guys say to those artists who struggle with that?
Oh, man.
I would say that a great girl group once said, go on and do it. But in all seriousness, I have struggled with this literally since the beginning of time. I feel like I don't do music or anything, but I am a very, like, creative person, and there are a lot of things I do enjoy doing that I'm like, man, I should really work on putting myself out there a lot better, and I still struggle with that so much today. When I was a DJ, I hated posting, being like, everyone come watch my show, because it's just, like, awkward. And, like, I know when I've watched other people, especially when they're starting out with something, I'm gonna judge it. Like, I'm gonna judge it, and sometimes I'm gonna think, man, that was really bad. And I'm like, man, I'm very judgmental. So what are people gonna say when they see my thing? But the thing is that no one's first project is going to look good. Yeah. It's never, Dale, you would know. We have something we can show.
Oh, that's not.
But seriously, like, it's one of those things where you just got to do it, and you just got to, like, get over the mental block. And it's something I'm still working on for sure.
Well, real quick, I'm sorry to cut you off there.
No, you're good.
I think first and foremost, this is about you, right? It's not, it shouldn't be about what people think.
Yes, exactly.
You should do it because you love to do it, like we mentioned earlier. But it is important to make an impression.
Yes.
Is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I completely agree with you, and I think that helps get over the mental block of like, okay, so who cares what these people think? First of all, they're probably not going to tell you to your face, so whatever, just don't think about it. And secondly, like you said, it's not for them, it's for you. And so if you want to make a 8-minute song, okay, well, it might not be very successful, but if you love it, then go do it.
You know, to the people who are first starting out and have that song that's just on their phone, or have that song that they've written and haven't shared, it's story time. I remember the first song that I ever wrote that I used, you know, just my personal experience and my personal emotions and put into it. I mean, before that, I'd written a couple songs, but all of it was pretty generic stuff. It wasn't anything that I felt was, I felt like, it wasn't anything that, those other songs weren't anything that I put my personal feeling and my personal emotion to. And the first song that I wrote that I did put that kind of spin into it, I remember going, and I was so nervous, to share it. My dad loves music. He taught me a lot I know about music. And I remember going in the living room. I was like, hey, I just wrote this song, 30 minutes ago. And my dad's very honest with me about my stuff. He'll tell me if he thinks it's trash, and he will. He'll just say, I felt like you took a bazooka to that bridge, and that shouldn't even be there.
It's a good dad.
That's actual things that he's told me about some of my songs.
Yeah.
But this song, I went in there, and I was super nervous. I showed it to him, and I think I had a sister sitting there, and my mom was sitting there, and I sang this song. I was in my feels that day, and he didn't tell me it was good. That's not what he told me. He didn't tell me it was bad. He told me, well, actually, he didn't even tell anything to me. His first words after the song was, he looked over at my mom. He said, "We're gonna be going through something when he has his first heartbreak. Just wait," or something to that effect. Just wait for his first heartbreak. Like, wow, it's gonna be, because it was a moody song. Yeah. And it wasn't even about a girl. So he's like, man, we're going to be in for something.
Was it about a guy? I'm just kidding.
No.
Continue, sorry.
But no, I mean, but in its own right, that was encouragement, because my goal of letting that be an expression of myself and how I felt that day was successful. Was the song good? I don't know. Maybe not. But was the point and the feeling behind the song conveyed to who I sang it to? Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And the point that got across of, that day I was feeling lonely. I was feeling, totally kind of isolated from my friends and stuff like that. And that's what inspired the song, and that's what came out, when I sang it.
Yeah.
People can always. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, throw it out there, whether people like it or not. It'll be an encouragement because you're like, hey, I've taken this step. I've put something out there. I've showed other people besides myself, and I know it was still family at that point, but that's the first step. If you have a good family group that you can show stuff to, and you're too nervous to show your friends, show your family first, and that'll be a first step, and then you can show your friends. And then you can show other people, maybe their friends, and then you can show the world, and build on that.
Yeah.
And people can tell when you're being genuine and when you are passionate about it. And so that's why it's important to have that passion, because
Absolutely.
people can recognize that, and like whether they necessarily think the song itself is good or not, they can tell that that it means something to you. And so the people who are, truly care about you, they're going to support you, and then that's just going to build, and then there will be people who are going to enjoy whatever you put out.
Yeah, I think it's there are different motivations for sharing your music, right? I think that really there's a process where you make the song, and it's an extension of how you feel, right? And it's an artistic expression. When you make the jump to show other people, what you're effectively doing is one of two things, right? You're either wanting praise or you're wanting to get better. And I think, showing your family is a good way to get a little bit of both, right? Because your family hopefully will not be too harsh with you about your music. But when you take that jump, this is why most people don't share a lot of their music. It's because they're afraid of something bad being said about it, or something that could challenge them, right? And get them out of their comfort zone and make them feel kind of inadequate about their music. But again, it's like we said earlier, it's an extension of you. That's the first thing you need to remember. That is your music. That is your art. And someone appreciates it. Someone does. But there are people that have been around this industry. There are people that have been exposed to a lot of different things. And if it comes back to, if this is a passion of yours, if this is something that you want to make into a career, a life for yourself, you have to be willing to put your stuff out there and get criticism, right or wrong, whether the person is experienced or if they're just, a bystander. I started out showing my stuff to, maybe like a girl I was seeing, or maybe my parents or something. Even my parents was a hard sell. I was like, I don't want my parents to hear this. It'd be the last people I would show. But and then it got to where I was like, okay, I need one friend to hear this. I need one person in the business, and I need one person that's not involved with anything, right? One random person at work or something. Hey, listen to this. Tell me what you think honestly, right? Tell me when you want to turn this off. And so, make sure you're coming into it with the right motivations, right? Like share your music. Please share your music, but be ready for that, good and bad, right?
Because like it or not everyone is going to like your music. There are going to be people who do, and those are the people that you want to find, eventually. But when you're in the mode of trying to practice and become better, especially when it's early on, a lot of your early songs are probably not going to be objectively as far as or commercially good. Most of them are not going to be. I don't know how many songs I've written, and a ton of those are not commercially pleasant. A lot of them are like, I wouldn't even play to myself at this point, so I don't play them. But they were a starting point. But, I liked them at the time I wrote them. Otherwise, I wouldn't have written them. But that doesn't mean that, as far as a business move, some of those songs, they're practice. Use them as such. But you still need to share that stuff, especially early on when that's all you have and that's your starting place. Because other people can help you learn where you're at. When you're first writing, and they can help you learn. Oh, I didn't even realize I was doing this, or I didn't realize I wasn't doing this. Like a lot of my early stuff didn't have reoccurring melodies. Right. I didn't realize that. To me, I was like, oh yeah, this is a melody. I can hear it. I'm singing it. And people, and I'd have family or I'd have friends like, yeah, this sounds nice, but I wouldn't be able to sing along. I don't know the melody.
Man, that is so important. It's like if you are able to, for lack of a better way of putting this, put your ego aside.
Yes.
If you have, because some artists I know may have that, right? And it's not like like a, I don't know, annoying thing. It's just kind of like, again, it goes back to they don't want to be told that what they're doing may not be working. And for me, it was like, it wasn't that what I was doing wasn't working. It was that I had so much more that I could do. And I just didn't want to open my mind up to it. Like before I went to NSA, I was mainly like writing songs with like 3 chords and like, you know, it was mainly lyrically driven. And then I got to NSA and I was like, there's so much more here that I could be doing. There's so much more that I could be doing to make my song interesting. And all I had to do was just watch people play. And all I had to do was just listen to a teacher or listen to a friend who's like, that's good, but maybe try this. Like here, and then listen to their music. And then, you know, like, because like it or not, like we all like pull ideas from other things we hear. That's how we formulate our style, right?
I mean, all of our music is based off of what? 12 notes?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 12 notes.
12 notes. I mean, that's, and so everything is a remix essentially. So go play with other people, go listen to their stuff. Because I've learned the most by playing with other people. Yeah, and like, whoa, how did you do that? Like like the last concert that I, you know, as an artist performed in, you know, you came and played guitar with me, and there were things that you played that, you know, during the concert I may or may not have noticed because we were playing and everything, but going back and listening to the recordings, I was like, oh, I really like that. That was really cool, you know. And it's you know, it's a conversation that you and I haven't actually had yet. Yeah. But like, there's a number of things I was like, that's really cool. I like that, and I want to, you know, figure out how you did that. Yeah. You know, but that's by playing with someone else and hearing their rendition of the same thing that you created.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. Before you go, do us a quick favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you get notified anytime we post any content. Go listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review if you really like what you're hearing. It would really help us out. Go follow us on Instagram. We'll see you next time.